Animation Network podcast. I apologize for the last couple of weeks of no episodes. You know how the summer can be. Got very busy and had no time to record. I will admit that this week's is going to be a short one before we get back into real episodes next week. Figured I'd give you a little sneak peek at what was originally the prologue of Nothing's Ever Easy, until I decided that A, Ren felt too young, and B, it didn't really add anything to the story, but little behind the scenes prologue before we get back into normal recording next week. This was, again, original prologue of Nothing's Ever Easy. The wind ruffled his hair, just harsh enough to sting his eyes. In an effort to distract himself, Ren resolutely stared out at the farmland stretching away from the castle until tears formed in the corner of his eyes. He gave in, blinking and looking back at the stone structure that still loomed over him, even from his ramparts about halfway up the side of the castle. Childishly, he kicked at the stone wall that protected him from the dangerous drop, and then immediately regretted the action. "I'm 25, he said to himself sternly. "Not a child." "No, you are most definitely not, Rainier," a voice from the shadows said, and Ren jumped. "Father, I didn't know you were there," he said, feeling the heat slink up his cheeks and hoping the same shadows his father now emerged from hid the coloring. "You weren't supposed to," King Patrick, High Castle of Tierra, rumbled as he moved to join his son against the wall. Ren watched him, noting the dark circles under Patrick's eyes as he directed his gaze out at the farms. "Anderson told me something happened today, but wouldn't tell me anything more," the prince prompted as the silence stretched out almost as far as the farms. "I've told you before that I have complete confidence in you and your abilities as heir, haven't I?" Patrick asked softly. "Yes. Father, what happened?" He heard the edge of impatience in his own question as soon as it was out of his mouth. "As king," he began, "it is your responsibility to treat everyone as if they were your family. You must be as concerned with each problem brought before you, and many that you hear about, large or small, as you would be if it was your own child, cousin, or parent. Do you understand that, Ren?" The prince nodded, eyes still fixed on Patrick. "Do you also understand that sometimes even that isn't enough?" "Father?" he asked, confused. "No, I don't. What are you talking about?" he added, as the wind rustled up freshly, tugging at their hair and clothing. Ren shivered, not quite sure if the wind was the cause or Patrick's question. His father perched himself on the edge of the stone ramparts and gestured for Ren to do the same. "Do you remember Kento?" he asked. "Denham Lockholm's son?" "Of course. We played together all the time as children," his son said. "He has 3 younger brothers and a younger sister, doesn't he?" Patrick chuckled. "Your memory is as good as ever, Ren. Yes, he does. It's the sister whose name came up today." He sobered, gaze slipping past Ren as he rubbed the bridge of his nose. "We lost 4 of our most outspokenly loyal dukes today. Duke Aladan survived thanks to Kento's sister, and apparently the assassins didn't dare to try to infiltrate Northwind or Greensward." "Assassins? Lost? Father, what are you talking about?" "You know how there have been signs, almost since I took the throne, and how worried your mother and I always were that something would go wrong before you ever took the throne?" He let out a sigh. "They're the ones we think who killed Mom," Ren said quietly, touching his father's shoulder in reassurance, knowing where Patrick's thoughts strayed. "But you've always said that we don't really need to worry, because they didn't have the right leadership to make any sort of real move." He'd still been a small boy when his father had, for her safety, sent the queen and a guard into the mountainous trains to the north, where they'd vanished without a trace. 20 years later, all assumed she was dead. "Today, at the same time, they murdered 4 dukes, and the killers all escaped, Ren." Patrick smiled faintly. "I think they found their leadership." The wind rushed in again, disturbing the tense silence, pushing at Ren's body, cautioning him away from the edge the 2 men were perched on. The prince glanced over before slipping off the stone. He paused for a minute, then spun on his father. "What do we do now?" Unfortunately, Duke Aladan did not realize the importance and put the would-be assassin to death as soon as he refused to talk. Again, Patrick fell silent, gaze shifting out to the now dark sky. "But what do we do?" Ren insisted. "I don't know, Ren," his father said softly without moving. "There's not much you can do against an enemy you can't see." The prince jammed his hands in his pockets as he scowled. "We have to do something. Someone had to have seen something." We're already investigating those types of possibilities," Patrick continued at the same volume, "and we will continue to do so. I want you to be ready, Ren," he said, so quietly the wind almost stole his words. "I suspect there will be a lot of sacrifices made before this is all over, and you need to be ready to make the right ones." "What about you?" Ren asked, unintentionally matching Patrick's tone. "My choices are less. Don't worry about me, son. I'll be ready." He stood now, clasped Ren's shoulder tightly before moving past him and disappearing back inside. "I'll be ready too," Ren told the sky, the farms, and the darkness. Then, letting out a breath, he turned and followed Patrick. So yeah, original prologue that did not make it to the final cut of the story. So, hope you enjoyed, and I will be back next week with regular episodes of 2 chapters each. Thanks so much. Bye.